This tiny electric inflator, the Cycplus Cube, is really impressive.
So I'm going to put in my house key to give you an idea how small this thing is. The Cycplus Cube mini tire inflator is inside this box, which is about the size of a box for a bicycle tube, a spare tube to fix a flat. And when you open it up, it's in another box. You open that box up, get the owner's manual, and there's the pump. So here's my key, there's the pump. You get an idea the size of the pump. It's encased in this silicone cover which comes off. That's just a rubber cover, and that protects you because it gets hot when you use it to inflate your tire. Protects your fingers. Now it's set up with a Presta valve fitting. So it just presses on the Presta valve on your wheel and pumps up the tire. They say it'll fill 2 bicycle tires. The weight on it, they say, is about 97 grams. And it's got a battery inside here that charges in about 25 minutes. And here's the USB charging cable. And this right here is the adapter, the 2 pieces that you put in. You unscrew the head here, you take out the Presta fitting, you put these in, screw that back on, and it's set up for Schrader valves. So to turn it on, you press this little button right here. And you can't see it probably in the camera, but there's a little green light that comes on that shows that it's fully charged. Now if I press it 2 times, it'll start running. You can hear how loud it is. So it's not quiet. So that's one drawback. It makes a little noise. It's supposed to be able to inflate 2 tires. Maximum inflation is 100 psi. This is interesting. On this label right here, it says that in order to inflate a tire that already has air in it, so like a soft tire, you actually turn the pump on, get it started like I just did, and then you put it on the valve. So that must be to overcome the pressure in the tire. If the tire is completely flat, you can put it on the valve and turn it on. That's what it sounds like. And what's happening is the pump is sucking in air through actually the charge port and blowing it out the head of the pump.
Let's take it apart and see how it works. It's nice that it comes apart so easily with just 3 little screws. When you look inside, it's pretty easy to see how it's set up. There's a couple of batteries right there with the circuit board and some wiring. And then the pumping is actually just like a regular mini pump. There's a plunger in there, and there's a rotating device that drives the plunger back and forth to push the air. Pretty cool. I thought there might be a little spinning turbo in there or something.
So we'll put it on and see how it works. So I let all the air out of this tire, and that's a 45C tire, so 45 millimeters wide. And I'm going to take the pump, and we're just going to see how it does. So there's no air in there, so I'm going to put it on here. And I'm going to give it the 2 tips. Say that's about 2 minutes. Put my pump on here, try not to let any air out. So I got about 25 pounds, which is a rideable pressure for 45C gravel tire like this. Let's see what happens if I inflate it even more. But let's see if we raise the pressure at all. It looks like we got it up to 30 psi. Pretty good. And it takes a while, but it's sure easier than pumping a little mini pump.
Let's try a road tire.
So it put in about 50 pounds. That's certainly not the 100 pounds it said it could go up to. Although it says maximum inflation 100 psi. Doesn't specifically say it will inflate to 100 psi, but it only got 50 in all that time of pumping and it was fully charged. 50 psi on this tire, you could still ride on it fine, but if you wanted a harder tire, I'm not sure this pump could do it. It says in the directions that the operating time of the pump is 200 seconds, which is over 3 minutes. So I put the pump back on again and I let it run until it felt and seemed like the battery was starting to die. The motor was running really slow. It was well over 3 minutes, might have even been 4 minutes. But check it out, if you leave it on long enough, it can reach the pressure they said, 80 psi. You could totally ride on that, so that's outstanding performance. Okay, here's one more. This is a 2.35 inch 60 millimeter mountain bike tire. That's getting really hard, so let's see what pressure we have in there. About 25, maybe 26 pounds in that tire. It's a nice pressure to ride on, so it did well on the mountain bike tire. A lot of bikes have storage compartments in the frame now. Like my Trek here, I thought that I might be able to get the pump inside the storage compartment, but it's a little on the big side, it's a little too tall to go in. If I took off the cover, the rubber cover, I might be able to get it in there if I wiggled it in. But I don't want to get it stuck in there and have difficulty getting it out. So I'll probably just carry it in my pocket because it's so small it'll fit in a jersey pocket really easy. But it might fit in your frame if you have a storage compartment. It's a nice way to carry it. Pretty impressive performance for such a small pump. It's really nice that it does all the work for you, unlike a mini pump that you have to pump for a long time to inflate a tire the size of the one this just pumped up. Right now the price is about $90, so it's significantly more expensive than a mini pump that you might carry in your frame. But the way it works, it's pretty handy. And the size lets you carry it just about anywhere you want. And I bet if you had this on board and you were riding with other people and you had a flat tire on one of the other bikes and they got out their pump and you took out your Cycplus Cube, they'd let you pump it up with the Cube. I've seen online that there are other companies offering a pump that's very similar. So maybe there'll be more of these available. Maybe the price will come down. Maybe they'll get better and better or smaller and smaller. But it sure is an interesting new category of portable pump. And it's the first time I know of that you've ever been able to carry a real compressor in your pocket. Now you might want to carry a CO2 pump. And the CO2 pumps inflate a lot faster and they don't make this kind of noise. But the problem with CO2 pumps is they can freeze on the valve in cold weather And CO2 pumps, you have to buy the replacement cartridges, whereas this pump makes its own air, so you don't have to buy anything once you buy the pump. So it's a nice alternative to those pumps, as long as you don't mind the slight possibility that you might run out of battery if you forget to charge it. So I think this is an interesting new pump and well worth a look. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.